Hello and welcome to my reading goals of 2024 part 2 video. The next 10 books slash only 8 because I did 12 in the first one instead of the first 10, so now we're doing 8. Buckle up, you guys. So I'm officially 2/3 through my reading goal of 30 books this year, and it is July 16th. I am 4 books ahead of schedule, and I wanted to do like 10, 10, and 10 books, but the first time I had finished like 2 books over the weekend before I got around to filming this, so there's only 8 in this one in particular, but the next one will definitely be 10, if not more, you know, depending on how many books I finish before the end of the year. I'm pretty sure that I'm actually gonna hit my reading goal, which I'm surprised because last year I think I set it for 25 and I was shocked when or 20. Did I only read, I think I set it for 20 and I read 22 books or something like that. And the fact that I'm like halfway through the year and I've already read as many books as I read last year is just beyond me. I'm shocked. I wouldn't say impressed. No, impressed. I'm impressed with my balance of time this year. That's kind of the theme of reading for me, is my way of resting. So I'm proud of myself for prioritizing sitting down and doing nothing a little bit more. Anywho, let's hop to it. The 13th book I read this year was Her Dark Lies by J.T. Ellison. I mentioned this book at the end of my last reading goals vlog. This was the one I was starting next, and boy oh boy. Now that I'm looking at the other books that I'll be talking about, I'm definitely due for another murder mystery situation because this book was so good. Now, the only downside is I do indeed always figure them out within the first chapter or 2. This one I feel like was a little more obvious, like how it was written style-wise, so I don't feel like that accomplished. But aside from the murder mystery aspect, which was fabulous, really enjoyed the storytelling, I loved how quick and short the chapters were. As someone who is very busy, sometimes when I get a book that has really long chapters, I feel discouraged when I don't finish the chapter in the allotted amount of time that I have free, if that makes sense. It makes me kind of not want to pick up the book again because I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna get to the end of the chapter. It's kind of like getting to the end of a TV show. Like, I'm only watching half the TV show. It's not really working. Oh, you got a bone? You want to say hello? You have to pick a lane. Yeah, you do have to pick a lane. I'm filming. Oh, apologies for the dog noises. Josie's. Oh, she's leaving now. Bye. She just came to show me her bone. But I loved how this author in particular, J.T. Ellison, was descriptive of the scenery. I could really visualize the small island in Italy where this took place. It was like a mental vacation, even though it was a murder mystery. I was like, I'm on vacation in Italy right now, sorry. But needless to say, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really love this book and I really want to check out more by this author. Okay, on to book number 14. I was so excited when I found this book in one of the little libraries because I had been wanting to read more of the Devil Wears Prada book series. They're not necessarily groundbreaking like Florals in Spring. But it's just the perfect cheesy early 2000s vibe. But the 14th book I read this year was Chasing Harry Winston by Lauren Weisberger. I adored this book. This book was hard for me because the chapters are incredibly long. It's like the opposite of the last book. They're a whole thing. Like, they go on forever. And I could not get through a whole chapter in the amount of time that I had free. Not once. There was only one rainy Sunday I had off where I got to sit and read the last 75 pages in one sitting, and I really enjoyed that. So I think it's more of a me problem. I think I just need to set more time aside to read. It's as simple as that. It could not be that the chapters were the chapters are 50 pages. I felt like they could have been broken up a little different because it follows 3 girlies. I feel like the chapter could have been one girly, the next girly, the third girly, and then like a short little chapter could be when they like would reconvene and discuss. I feel like one chapter could basically be 4 chapters at a time, and then I could have gotten a little less discouraged about my lack of time to read, but still loved it. It was cheesy in all the right ways. And again, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, but do not go by my rating strictly because I just want something that's fun, you know? And this was very fun. On to books 15, 16, and 17. This is the Summer I Turned Pretty series. So the first book is Summer I Turned Pretty. The second one is We'll Always Have Summer. And the third one is It's Not Summer Without You. These were definitely more of YA novels and very coming of age type rom-com situations. There was like a best friends to lovers trope, there was an enemies to lovers trope, there was a meet cute trope. It was kind of every romance story crammed into one series, which I feel like you get that usually with a series anyway, but I loved it. Now, were there character flaws? Not by the writer, but like the characters themselves had flaws? Yes. Did this irritate some like people who read them? Yeah, and I can understand that, but people aren't perfect, and that's why I think I appreciated this so much. And I liked the ending of the third book a lot, not in how it turned out, so to speak, but how it was written. It was, because normally I am very sad when a series comes to an end, because you know, you get attached to the characters and you're like, oh, okay, bye, I guess. But the way she concluded it with extra things to kind of let your brain complete their life story without her writing it all out. It's like when you get that Christmas newsletter from a distant family friend. Oh, she's back. I know it's hot. I turned the air conditioning on. I'm so sorry. But I love the series. I devoured it. I inhaled it. And I personally give it like maybe a 4.5 out of 5 or total. I feel like it could have been written a little bit more encouraging for positive relationships with young girls. Teaching them how to facilitate healthy relationships versus pursuing really bad, unhealthy ones, you know? But I still liked it. It was dramatic. It was definitely like telenovela vibes. 18th book I read this year was Outlawed by Anna North. Again, this lost the dust jacket. I love this book. This is the most recent review, so I won't like talk about it too much. But I love it because it's set in the Wild Wild West. It's a historical fiction novel. It follows a group of LGBTQ plus people and them just trying to find refuge essentially and create their own safe space. And it's very action packed and very much adventure forward and girl power. But I really love this book, and it's hard though because I feel like if I talk too much about it, it gives away a lot of the story really fast. It's kind of a slow burn situation, so that's why I don't want to give it away. But 5 out of 5, really good book. This is my Pride Month read. The 19th book I read this year is The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I loved this book. Now, I was super busy, so it took me a long time to read it. However, it's like Bridgerton vibes, but with a twist. Some people in the series have magical powers. Like, they can move objects with their mind, and it's just kind of an everyday thing, but it's also kind of looked down upon because people who make money off of showing off their powers in a freak show, sideshow situation, that's like literally an insult they use. They're like, you're not high society because you can move cards with your brain. And like, they can move cards with their brain. What? What? But I loved it. It was definitely a very slow burn, period piece, romance, drama, love triangle, people getting what they deserve, people realizing their power, both like metaphorically and physically. And it was just such a good book. 5 out of 5. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And on to the 20th book I read this year, Two Summers by Amy Friedman. I finished it today. So I thought it was gonna be a little bit like of a cheesy YA novel, and it is a YA novel. However, it explores in a fun kind of rom-com way the idea of parallel universes and like the butterfly effect and the 2 different lives she would have lived if she had made these 2 different decisions, and I loved it. I started this book Saturday morning. I finished it this morning, Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning. I inhaled it so much quicker than the last book. Slow burns sometimes take me longer to read because I'm not a big slow burn fan. I'm like, let's jump into it. This is my escapism. I love this. This is just a good, fun, quick read. I could see this being like a cute little Netflix movie. Needless to say, I give it a 5 out of 5. I loved it so much. And on that note, that concludes part 2 of my reading goals. I actually don't know what I'm gonna read next. I have not had time yet to pick out the next book, but get excited, get stoked. But yeah, I can't believe it. I'm 2/3 through my reading goal, and I think that's all I have to say. So I will see ya when I see ya.